Welcome to Milestone Moments, the show where we explore the journeys that lead to success. I'm Sheila Slick, your host and founder of 5 Milestones. In every episode, we will bring you insights from the minds of entrepreneurs, leaders, and experts who will share not just their expertise, but the milestone moments that have reshaped their journeys and led to significant achievements. So if you're looking for motivation, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and discover the milestones that mark the path to success. Welcome to another episode of Milestone Moments in Business and Leadership. I'm your host, Sheila Slick, and today my special guest is Jeannette Cieszykowski. She is a personal life strategist with over 11 years of experience and for over 4 years has been working with top entrepreneurs, helping them break through plateaus, reignite their passions, and create the energy they need to scale, all without burnout. Welcome to the show, Jeannette.
Hello.
Well, let's start learning a little bit about you and how you got to doing what you do today. How did you become a personal life strategist? What was that pivotal moment that led you to decide this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so personal life strategist that leans into using feng shui, and it's like combining energy and those personal development tools. And the way I ended up combining both of them, I have a master's in landscape architecture where I found out about feng shui, which is studying the landforms, where our fun fact, feng shui originated with where do you bury your ancestors to receive ancestral luck. So it's not everything it is today about decluttering and sometimes people think it has to do with tchotchkes in their house. It actually started with, the energy of the environment. So I learned that when I was getting my degree. I became a landscape architect. And while I was doing that, it's a 5-year master's, and then you go into it, you kind of dedicate your life to that and think that's where your life will end up. And the first 2 years, I was just very anxious. I started getting very paranoid at work, anxious at work. Like, I can't sit at a desk the rest of my life and do this. Um, yeah, it just, and what we learn, and a lot of your guests have kind of talked about this too, is your body will tell you something's up. And it usually shows up in the form of emotions, paranoia, anxiety, something. I'm lucky that it didn't result in any big health issues other than just like my heart racing. And yeah, so I sit there and I start to look at what do people tell me I'm good at, right? And meanwhile, I'm doing feng shui on the side, so this all does tie back together. But I'm like, what do people tell me I'm good at? Well, at work, everyone tells me I talk a lot, and it turns out you could get paid to do sales, which is just like talking for work. And I was like, I should switch into that. So I feng shuied my space to attract the right helpful people, to attract this new job. And I did. I attract this sales job. I have no experience. Move into that. I love it. It's great. We fixed that first plateau, right? Of not liking and feeling really uncomfortable in my corporate career. Go into sales. I love it. And it's fun. I told the CEO of the company one day that I would be the CEO of that sales firm. I just loved it so much. And in true universal fashion, we try to control things. We think that we know the story. And because of COVID, I was let go, even though I was the youngest salesperson in the company, one of the top 5 salespeople. And again, I ask myself in this transition point, okay, even though I loved this, it wasn't like the first one where I quit. This one I loved. I wanted to stay in sales. I thought, okay, if everything's always happening for me and not to me, how is this? What is this showing me? What is this telling me? And I thought, well, I just learned all these skills, how to hit quotas, exceed quotas. And I've been doing this feng shui thing that I love. They tell you when you're looking for your passion, what's the thing you could talk forever about? That you get lost in books. And I would get lost in things like feng shui. And that's where this 11, I think we're now year 12 of experience. I'd always been doing it for friends, for family. And I thought, okay, well, if I can do sales and I'm like exceeding my quotas, and I can run a business and I should do it. The world's ending anyway, it seems. So why not go give it a shot? And so that's how I ended up where I'm at. So, and I have combined it with personal life strategy because I've always used feng shui as a personal development tool. I noticed the first couple years of running this business, Elemental Clarity, that people just thought it was about decorating. And they kind of think like, oh, if I just rearrange my space and I just decorate better, that and declutter, that I meet the love of my life, I make a lot of money and things go well. But it's actually, again, the way I personally share it is it's more personal, like personal development. How can we create an environment that helps you be the best version of yourself so that you can achieve more? So anyway, that's a
Right, so we're gonna go
big
back.
circle.
Yeah, no, I loved it, but you hit it with the nail on the spot when you said um, that feng shui is about redecorating because when you ask someone like me that's not an expert, I seem to tie it in with energy, like the way that your bed is facing, or you're supposed to have certain elements in certain corners of the house.
Mhm.
And the gist or the basic idea is that the energy flows.
Exactly.
So anything else I'll learn. I don't know what those elements are. I do know that when it comes to designing an office, for example, I rearranged my office trying to follow some of those tips because some bring prosperity. One of the things I had learned, for example, was you want to face the door, not have your back to the door. And
Yep. Power position.
yeah, something I read inspired me enough to actually do that change. I don't remember what it was, but I just remember you're supposed to be facing the door, not have your back to the door. And so I do look forward to learning more and also getting some more tips on how we can improve our life, not just our workspaces or home spaces using it. So, how does it tie in to personal development? I'd love to know that versus, the traditional ways that we think about it in spaces.
If you think about it, you're optimizing. A lot of people start with optimizing their internal energy, right? Entrepreneurs that are maybe looking for being like more spiritually led or just more balanced leaders in entrepreneurship, right? Not all hustle. They like the creative side as well. They maybe meditate, they eat well, they meditate to clear their thoughts. So they're working on their internal systems, and that's what most people are familiar with. And I actually started backwards. I was looking at my environment. And so what I've realized, the way that it links in is that we put, especially entrepreneurs, people who are very motivated, who consider themselves high achievers, they think they have to do everything. I have to be the best. I have to think positive. I have to be calm. I have to achieve like everything. They put so much pressure on themselves that they have to do everything. And with feng shui, is yes, there is this like high level layer of decluttering. Whether you're feng shuiing, whether you're being intentional about it, we all know that visual clutter is mental clutter, right? It's hard to function in a hoarder's house. But what feng shui goes deeper is it's kind of like creating this, your home can be a 3D vision board. You're working out, you're trying to think positive, you're meditating, but if your space makes it difficult to eat healthy, makes it difficult to meditate, makes it difficult to get out the door. And again, this is still even higher layer of like you don't know if you don't know where your keys are, your energy is always somewhat drained. You cannot function or show up 100% in your business. Then there's an even deeper layer of the elements, like you mentioned. We balance fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. So we get even deeper into each direction in your house signifies a different part of your life. So the basics are you have 4 lucky directions based on your birthday. Can you work from your lucky current success direction? Is your like lucky relationships direction just a complete mess? Well, then no wonder your relationships are a mess. So then we get even deeper into that. So the way I combine, to go back to your question of how is it related, is I see it as like everyone is doing so much internally. And even as somebody who considers himself a high achiever, it's like kind of helps you let go. Like if you're really stressed out at work and you're really putting all this pressure on yourself to be perfect and do all these things, if your environment is a space where you can come home feel relaxed, and know that the energy in this space is helping you attract opportunities. It's kind of like doing some of the work for you, right? You can truly relax and take a deep breath in your house because you know that everything is balanced, just like you might be balancing your chakras or your mental state. So that's how I link the two.
So in your bio, it says that you have a framework, a 3R framework, and it's reframe, rearrange, reinvigorate, and they connect identities. So tell us a little bit about how you help the people, what that looks like.
Yeah, so this dives perfectly into the personal development side. Reframe is, what is your identity with yourself? What is your perspective on life? It's before you even get into the feng shui. If your identity is that good things don't work out for me, or I mean, good things don't happen for me, um, I never like, I always attract people that bring a lot of conflict, or things are always difficult. First you have to look at what is your motivation behind making these adjustments in your life. Are you working from the energy and the perspective of fear, or is your perspective and of yourself and your identity and relationship with yourself positive one, like, this is working, I am getting better every day? So first we have to look at what's your perspective at identity, relationship with yourself. Then we rearrange, and that's making space in your space to receive and applying the proper feng shui elements to create balance in your home, so that you not only now is your identity good things happen for me, I'm always in the right place at the right time. Now your space supports that. I have intentional imagery in my office. My desk is set up in the power position. That's that rearrange. And then reinvigorate is taking action. So, how do you now take aligned action? You have a lot of people that say, I want work life balance. But if they ever get a little bored, they subconsciously create a little bit of chaos. Or I want to be healthier, but look at all that's an obvious one, but look at all your habits. None of your habits are aligned with being healthy. So, it's three different fronts that we cover, because feng shuiing alone, it makes massive improvements, and it pairs very well if you're already optimizing everything internally. But those three segments of your life, how you feel about yourself, how your space is set up, and how you're taking action, will really help you see results.
Who do you serve? Entrepreneurs, professionals, people who work from home, offices? What does that target market look like?
Yeah, so I help entrepreneurs, whether they're working from home, whether they're C-suite in an office, whether they are small business in a business space. I help anyone who wants to improve their space.
Can you give us like an example? I'm trying to just visualize it. And I guess it's because the concept is really unique. The mind, the person, the mindset, and the space. So it's not just like getting an interior decorator or someone that knows about that.
Yeah.
We're combining the two. So I'd love to continue learning a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It is like and this is why I changed my title from feng shui consultant to personal life strategist, because most people, they heard feng shui consultant and they would immediately either write me off, or write the idea off, because they'd think, I don't need to declutter, I don't need to rotate my couch, my business is losing money, my personal life is in shambles. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what feng shui helps with, actually, is that when you balance your space, when you balance your bedroom, your relationships improve. When you balance your kitchen or your living room, your health improves. And so it is a very unique concept, and changing the terminology around, because most people don't think that their environment impacts them as much as they do. So, a business example is, I had a woman who ran an event company, and she had like a headquarters, and she was getting hit with a lot of lawsuits, and also all of her staff were like arguing. There was a lot of gossiping in the office. There was a lot of internal bickering in the office, and she's just like, we're an event company. Like, we're fun. Things are colorful. Things are a good time. Like, I don't understand why all this stuff is happening. And she had hired an interior designer. She spent tens of thousands of dollars making it look very high end, like boutique style. It was very cool. So she did the interior design part that she thought. But when I got into the space and looked at the energy layer of it, we saw that there are certain elements conflicting. And that's like kind of a whole nother rabbit hole. But if people are familiar with traditional Chinese medicine or any kind of metaphysics, you're balancing these elements. And in her case, she had employees in a part of the office where there was a tension, like a fighting, arguing energy. Well, we moved their desks to a different room, and some people quit, some people, it just went away. We added water to a certain part of her headquarters, painted a wall black, added in a more natural light to the door, and the lawsuits go away. And then we made her have her own office. It was an interesting scenario where she wanted to be relatable. She wanted to be the boss where she was interacting with people, and she had difficulty with authority, I guess. She wanted to be everybody's friend, but it's like, you're the CEO. You need your own office. We need to set your office up to be CEO like, right? We have talked about power position. You mentioned you put your desk in the power position where you're facing the door. That also created some structure in the business as well. So everything in her business started flowing more smoothly. And of course, money comes in after that because you don't have all the fighting, the wasted time. You don't have wasted resources on lawsuits. And then she felt more powerful showing up. She felt better. Now, I don't want to say dictating, but like delegating, hey, this is your role. This is your role. We have to get these things done. So that's the power of feng shuiing in a commercial space. But then, yeah, a lot of times today entrepreneurs work from home. And it's still similar. Maybe you don't have all your employees in your house, but do you feel powerful in your office? A lot of new entrepreneurs, they feel really uncomfortable pricing their offers, and they feel like, "Oh, I can't ask $2,000 for coaching. I can't ask $10,000. I can't say I'm a thought leader." They feel that imposter syndrome, and it's similar to dressing for success, right? You dress your space for success so that you can show up your best self.
With the office space, I do feel differently. I can't explain the why, but I like open spaces. I don't necessarily love enclosed spaces. So when I set up my office, I'm always looking for that open space. Otherwise, I guess I feel enclosed. I may not know the meaning behind it, but I do like that openness. So, what is one small change that a person listening to this episode today can do to evaluate their surroundings so that they can improve their space or their life?
Yeah. Since you have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen and a lot of people who are in transition, go ahead and look at that home office. Do you feel bold and empowered where you're sitting? So the power position that we keep referring to is, if you think about kings and queens, their thrones are facing the people that come up to them, right? You don't have your back turned to the door. They don't have their throne turned to where people enter. And that's what we mean by the power position. It's great if you have a strong, stable wall behind you. And then whatever your artwork is, does it help you feel empowered? Does it look people also kind of judge if you're on Zoom, if you're doing interviews, if you're doing any discovery calls to hire new clients. If you have a bunch of like Kleenexes or family photos, or it's just like disheveled and doesn't look purposeful, there's a subconscious thing there, right? Where the new potential client or the new potential boss will say, they judge it. It's like an unspoken thing. Just how you said it's unspoken. I don't know why I'm drawn to having more space, but these are those subconscious energetic cues. So check, are you in the power position facing the door? If you're working facing a wall, you often feel like you're hitting a wall. It'll like manifest itself that way. You feel like you're hitting a wall, not having creative ideas. Check the back of you. Is it a solid wall? And if you have artwork, if you have bookshelves, is it placed with intention? Have you looked there? Have you cleaned it up to where everything there feels meaningful? And then also, what is the first thing you see when you walk in your office? Because a lot of times people say, I can't figure out where I want to work. I'm uncomfortable. I have an office, but I don't want to work from there. Well, what's the first thing you see when you walk in? Is that inspiring or motivating? Or is it like a trash can, old tax receipts, tax forms, like a bunch of projects to do? Well, of course, you're not going to want to enter that room because you're not drawn to the trash, the old projects, the to dos that you'll get to later. So you go work from the couch or you go work from your bedroom instead. So those three areas I think are people will feel such massive shifts, just those the power position, desk placement, what is behind you when you're sitting at your desk and have like your camera on, and then what's the first thing you see when you walk into your office.
Where can we find you online?
Yeah, the best place, keeping it simple, is Instagram Elemental Clarity.
And what is your next milestone?
My next milestone is I would love to bring in more speaking events and even, I mean, long term tenure, like some kind of TV show to really show people it's such a visual experience. So similar to how like the home edit got a show or works with Extreme Home Makeover, or like a little Netflix series like Marie Kondo. I would love working towards that more visibility.
I look forward to tuning in as soon as you figure out platform you're going to launch that in. So I look forward to your own show.
Thank you, thank you,
And thank you so much for joining me today.
thank you.
And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Milestone Moments in Business and Leadership. Until next time.